Well, you're welcome. To the barber shop. You're welcome. To the barber shop. Mercy me. Goodness gracious. Barbershop Podcast. I'm, I guess, about episode, I'm always head of the ball, 236. Something around there. We have almost 5 years of shows. Shows that showcase the very best in live original music. Just happens to be out of the great city of Hamilton, Ontario, perhaps. No, not perhaps. Absolutely. The capital, the music capital of Canada. Perhaps one of the coolest musical nations on the face of the earth. And here we are, broadcasting live on Facebook in high definition and high fidelity. So, is it a local corner? Little local corner like Seattle was, like Minneapolis was, like New York was? Like, who the fuck was Bjork before you heard of her? She lives in fucking Iceland. Okay? Music, real music is out there. And it's everywhere. It's sustained forever. And you fuckers don't get it. You're killing it with your apathy and your ignorance and your fucking stupidity. And I've seriously, after 5 years, I've almost fucking had enough of this shit. You know, we got our core of 70, 80 great people who go to every show. And if they got $5, they give it to the music, like 80, 100 people. This is a city of 500,000 people, and it's happening everywhere. You're sitting in your living room because it's cooler. You're not going to get hassled. You're not going to get busted. The beer is cheaper, you know? And I got to go out and I got to go try to hump to a brewery and say, you should be on my show. And they fuck me over and everyone ignores me. Fuck you. Okay? 5 years. Barbershop Podcast has unabashedly, unashamedly showing the very best in live original music. And I'm proud tonight to have a band that eschews exactly what I'm thinking. Bunch of working stiffs, bunch of real men out of the midland, hinterland, hay baling, corn hogging, part of the world. They got story to tell. Music is part of their love, part of their life. They got a band called the Livingroom Rockstars. Goes to show you that they're real about who they are and what they are. Don't make a mistake. They're no joke. They're for real. And they're part of the what's great about Barbershop Podcast, because we're about for what's real. Real music, real people, real Hamilton, real good. Okay? So if you like it, you better share it. And you better tell someone, you should check this out. Get the army stronger. All right, we got a bunch of guys. We're going to tell a rock and roll story. We're going to start with the singer guitar player over here, JB Stryker. We're going to learn about JB's life and music. Next to him, also on guitars, Mr. James Kelly. He's a mean motherfucker. Mess with him. And on drums, we got Mr. Mike Farr. He's crazy. Love Mike Farr because he is all over social media. He is the drummer with the bummer. And, of course, on bass, we got Whip Miller. And if you don't got Whip Miller, you don't got fucking nothing in this world, right? So, let's start with you, Mr. Stryker, since you're the face, the mouthpiece of the band. Tell me about, you've obviously got a great ear for music and you know good people. What did you have in mind when you put this band together? You must have, right?
I'm sorry, Kevin, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay, well, because you got to say he's deaf. And if you're going to have a band, you're going to need somebody who's deaf.
So, and Jerry's our token deaf guy.
He's a token deaf guy. He seriously cannot hear, but that's not stopping him. Tell me about music. When did you start playing? Want to tell me about rock and roll?
I started when I was 4 years old, a mandolin.
Mandolin was your first instrument because it's tiny.
Well, I could get my hands around at that age.
It's fun. Even me, I like to play.
It's over 100 years old.
No shit.
But anyways, my parents were musicians. And so, they encouraged it right from the get-go. And, finally I started playing guitar seriously when I was 14 after wearing a motocross bike that ate me alive, and I couldn't walk for a while.
So you're sitting down for good.
Yeah, playing guitar was a whole lot safer than motocross.
No doubt. So tell me about picking these guys out. How did you do it? Where were you in your music that you were like, I want to do a band?
The Rockstars have been going for 10 years, and we kept losing members. I knew Mike since he was about 21. We've kind of all been through the same circles over the years. Yeah. I've watched his shows many times. Yeah. But anyways, hooked up with him as a drummer on Facebook, actually.
Yeah.
And then he actually knew James, and Whip
Yeah.
had been in a band with James. So.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of got brought together.
And
like
you're a
the Brady
hands-on
Bunch.
man. You're a truck driving man. You you put in a lot of miles. You do fabrication. You do welding. You do all kinds of artistic, mechanical things.
Mm-hmm.
Have you always figured that like that part of music has been a big thrill to you? Or has it just been your escape?
The rhythm of the road in a truck gives you. The rhythm of the road kind of keeps you sedated.
And the time to listen too.
And it does. And at the same time, all you have to hear is just a noise, eh? Hey! And all of a sudden it just, especially when you're strung out on black coffee about 5 in the morning, next thing you know, your mind's doing weird shit. And the next thing you know, this sound leads to that sound leads, and you go, hey.
That sounds like something.
Hey, I got something here.
Yeah.
And you pull over and you write it down. Next thing you know, you get a song.
You got a song, at least the basics for a song. So James, tell me about your guitar, your love for guitar, and when you hooked up with JB.
I started probably 13, 14 years old. Got one for Christmas and played it, loved it. Just loved music, and I played in a bunch of bands over the years. And and then I hooked up with these guys, hooked up with Mikey, and then Jerry, and
Yeah, and you're all country boys. Like you go out and
Country boys.
live off the land.
Truth is, somebody told him if he learned how to play the guitar, he'd get laid.
And he figured that makes as much sense as anything in this day and age. All right, Mike Farr.
Yeah, all right.
What drums? Did you play anything else, or were you born to be a drummer?
I actually had an uncle. I grew up around an uncle who played guitar. So I tried it around 7 years old. My hands were too small. So it was about 14 is when I got introduced into music classes in school. And I came home at 14 and said, Mom, I want to play the drums. And for my first birthday, that mother that says, okay. And it was my mom, like many of my
And you loved it, obviously.
I love it. I love it. There's nothing I love more than just sitting and staring at my drum kit. I mean, it's pearl. It's one of a kind. It's custom wrapped. There's no other drum kit out here. You steal it, I'm going to know where it is.
Yeah.
Because you can't put that on stage. I'll know you stole my drums.
And that's one of the things about being in a band. You got to haul. You got to pick up. You got to have a work ethic.
This is my baby beast. My regular tour kit that I use is 25 pieces, 15 cymbals, and the rest is drums.
This is drums. And early on, was that your fetish?
It was always
to
big.
kinda
It was
like
always, I was back
throw
in
it on?
Lava's music store, was still in Simcoe. I walked into Lava's, I pointed at the catalog. It was a double kick, 4-rack, double floor tom set of canary yellow pearls. I was 18. It's my first pro kit that I ever financed with my mother. And my first pro
But
pearl
she believed.
kit. She believed. She said, my son's been
son's
gifted. He's been gifted. He's been touched by the hand. and whatever, whoever touched me, wherever it come from, and it just...
That should be real.
It's real, and it's live, and it ain't Memorex here,
You know,
baby.
and I like it because you were hanging drywall today. You're making closets. You were making things out of nothing.
I'm a welder fabricator. Spent a lot of time out west in the oil field and that. And then my hands, my elbows, everything's getting tough. Shredder, our lead guitar player, owns a home rental business. So him and I, I'm mechanically inclined, handy. He's got his thing. So now it's him and I.
That's all you need. Honest
Slaying
man with
fences,
work ethic and a little spunting upstairs.
Yeah.
So how did the bass player? The bass player is always the funniest story. How did Whip Miller come into the scene? Whip, how did you get dragged into this?
I was playing in a band with him, and his band quit. So he said, "Hey, come and join these guys."
And at the same time, Jerry and I had done one show, and it was Jerry and I. So we had put a Kijiji ad on. Shredder answered it to play bass.
And I'm bringing him.
We found out he plays lead guitar, and he came with a bass player. So he said, bam!
2 for 1.
2 for 1 deal. Let's get this going,
Let's
fellas.
get it done. So you got a wicked record that you did up at your Casa Sound. You made a couple cool videos. You know, like I said, you're not spring chickens. You're younger guys, and you want to do it. You want to do it right. It's kind of like if I'm going to make this car, I'm not going to put 30 grand in a piece of junk. I'll put 47 grand into something that's amazing, right? So. Let's hear a little bit about what it's about. It's rock and roll. It hits you at the base of what you are. It takes a little more time. We don't like doing bands in here because it's a huge fucking hassle. But you're going to hear the benefits of what Ryan and Gary do. And you guys coming in early, setting it up. We're going to play some rock and roll. What's the first one we're going to hear?
The first one we're going to play is "You Were Wrong."
You were wrong?
You were wrong.
You'll never hear me say that. Livingroom Rockstars, You Were Wrong, right here on BarbershopPodcast.com.
best to bring me down if you had it your way. I would be a clown. When I was drowning, whoever told me a line to held me an anchor. When I should have you just fine, according to you. I spent my lifetime on my knees, and you believe me. It's like tenacious. How does it feel? You know that you were wrong. I didn't shrivel and die. Instead I just got strong. You laughed at me. No, I'm a joke from your past. How does it feel? You know this kid just kicked your ass. When things went your way, you had the world by the ass. It's such a shame. You didn't show a bit more class. The times have changed, and reality's bringing you down. Suck it up, princess. You wear your funny crown. Or does it feel? You know that you went wrong. Or do you die? I just got strong, you got me funny. Long did you think it would last, or does it feel? You know this dog just bit your ass. And I'm swimming in my self-made sea of blending. You want me to feel sorry for you now that you haven't got a penny. Funny how the sound of arrogance has changed to a whine. I'm feeling so much better since I left your ass behind.
Oh, Jesus. McMurphy, the Livingroom Rockstars. You know it's real when it comes from the living room and it comes from the heart. Barbershop Podcast. Brought to you by Boxo Studio. This is where we are. We're at Boxo Studio. Over 230, I don't know, some odd shows. Like, these guys came in at like 5, started setting up. When you record an album, it's like doing Photoshop. It's like your high school grad picture. It's like everything's perfect. This is like an approximation, a snapshot of that. Imagine if you got your fucking record done here, how good it would sound, right? And I'm not saying that you fuckers should come here and give me some business for what I do for you, but I'm saying give me some fucking business for what I do for you. And you know who I'm talking to. Yeah, you. Right there. All right. There's a lot of love here in this town. There's a lot of hate. Hamilton is not where you're from. I want to know what you guys view Hamilton. What is like when you were like in the cornfields, driving the highways, the small towns, learning like those. What was the you know, what was Hamilton in your mind, in your heart? Like, you know, even before you were musical, what did Hamilton mean to you? Were you scared of it?
When I was a kid, we used to come here shopping, you know, for high school clothes. Yeah, it was a big city.
It's a close city. You could get a few malls, get the mall action going.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, by the time I got my early 20s, I started trucking, and I was a steel hauler for Hamilton for 10 years.
It was a work thing.
Yeah.
Hamilton's got a lot of grooved roads. You go along Hamilton, and it's like if your car isn't wide enough to fit in how wide a truck is, you get tossed off the side like nothing, because there's been a lot of steel pulled through this town, right?
I chased somebody off the curb one time when I locked up the brakes, and the pup went up on the sidewalk and chased him
Crazy.
off the rain. Oh yeah, it was it. They weren't bored.
Yeah, it's true. It's like the 401 around just east of Toronto's like that too. It's a bit crazy. So you know, you learn about life, having a life, you know, and putting it in song. Does writing come easy for you? Like, do you write together, or do you write and give it to the guys, or what's the deal?
So far, I've done all the writing.
So far.
And it's like fine, man. It's like if I'm in a mortar crew, you know, I want to handle I want to know my job. I want to do it, and I want to do it well. Same with you. Like, have you always been like the leads? Because I started out playing bass. And it's like in a band, it was easy with two guitar players. If you sang, I played lead. If I sang, you played lead. It just worked out that way, right?
Yeah, I played rhythm. I played lead.
A little bit of bass, apparently,
Yeah, well, I've never really played bass in a band, but
you were wanting to get in a band.
I heard Jerry's videos, and I was like, wow,
he's got
shit going on with some good videos.
I play bass,
pretty much, right?
That's what it takes. You got to do shit, right?
You do, man.
You got to book gigs, and you got to talk to people. And we were all talking about this. It's a cuff gig for rock and roll now, right? It's like to get somewhere to play.
There ain't no fiddle in this band.
And you're wondering, am I doing this? But we got kids, right? We got kids that are now 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. And they're starting band. 27, right? They're starting seven, right? You know, mine are young, right? I started late. But a lot of us have guys who are in their own bands, right? You were talking about it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The best part was when his 18-year-old son ran out of the room and went, the old guys, 18
Perfect. All right, we're gonna play. We're gonna do a video first. Doing videos is fun. Was it fun for you?
Is
fun videos?
Yeah.
Doing videos was fun, or is it hard work and a pain in the ass?
It's not really fun. No, it's
No, because they get butt hurt and cut you out of the video if you join another band.
So Mikey was in, and then he was
So I had
out.
this opportunity to go on the road, tour Europe and Japan, which was a complete farce.
Yeah.
So in my transition, we had just shot I Want to Fly, who we shoot with Brent Dorner, the ex-lead guitarist from Helix.
Yeah.
He runs Red D Films and Editing. So we did the video, it was all cool, and then we got kind of butthurt, and I got cut out.
Well, whatever, because they couldn't count on your face being around.
Couldn't count on my mug,
but now
man.
they can't get rid of you.
But now my mug's back. Once
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, hey, they said, nope, that's it, and he's back.
Every 37 days, like it or not.
And you can't,
he's been giving her ever since he got back.
It's
So I'm
true.
glad he came back.
Yeah, glad he came back too.
and you
All
can't
right.
touch this. You can't replace this. Come on.
Settle down, son. All right, it's called We All Fall Down. Anything you want to tell us about it, or just let her go?
And that was also before these guys, right? Just seeing.
Anything you want to tell us about We All Fall Down, or
Yeah,
just play it?
absolutely. That song is about someone who has been on the up and up in life. You know, nice house, nice car, yada yada, right? Doing the usual family thing, man. Family man thing. Anyways, yeah, backwards, backing talkwards. Anyways, and things fall apart. Sometimes you get into something nasty, whether it's Coke or too much alcohol or something,
Or crazy
right?
lady, who knows?
Maybe you lose your job.
Yeah.
You know, you've always been a reputable person and you lose your
It
job.
gives you
but-
perspectives. You need shitty times in your life
yeah, for
because
sure.
then you know when the great times are. I feel sorry for the people who settle for beige. There's so much more than beige. That's the middle. This is a killer video called We All Fall Down. The band is the Livingroom Rockstars, and this is barbershoppodcast.com.
much, or I'm acting just too weird. The reasons for everything, and the nods they appear. I don't quite understand how I do these things and why. It was never my intent to make you wanna cry. 'Cause we all fall down. Won't you pick me up, please? Yeah, we all fall down. I'm begging on my knees. Yeah, we all fall down. I'm not a waste of skin. I'm dusting myself off, and I'll be on the road again. Sometimes my situation, it makes me so depressed. Everywhere I turn, my life's a bloody mess. But you know I will get through this with your help and a little time. 'Cause I want you here beside me when the sun again shines. 'Cause we all fall down. Won't you pick me up, please? Yeah, we all fall down. I'm begging on my knees. Yeah, we all fall down. I'm not a waste of skin. I'm dusting myself off, and I'll be on the road again. We all fall down. 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 Won't you pick me up, please? Yeah, we all fall down. I'm begging on my knees. We all fall down. I'm not a waste of skin. I'm dusting myself off, and I'll be on the road again. We all fall down. Won't you pick me up, please? Yeah, we all fall down. I'm begging on my knees. We all fall down. I'm not a waste of skin. I'm dusting myself off, and I'll be on the road again.
More pro you'll never get. Subterranean. In the shadow of the great Hamilton Mountain. This is Barbershop Podcast. 5 years. This is not a passing fancy. It's not a cutie boy thing. It is fall real. And the Livingroom Rockstars are here to rock out. I want to ask each of you to name what was the first rock and roll band that kind of made you like, ugh, that did it for you. Who was your rock and roll? What was your favorite rock and roll band when you were in high school, for example?
Probably Foreigner.
Foreigner. And then when that first record came out, it was huge. I bought it for my sister and then stole it from her. I bought it for her so I could steal it from her. You ever do that?
Yeah.
It's classic. It was a great record. Lou Gramm. I mean, it had that kind of shimmering, appealing, where rock and roll is not just a sausage factory. Chicks are gonna like this rock and roll. It was very good one. What was your like rock and roll? What was the first one that kind of grabbed you?
I'd have to say AC/DC or some Zeppelin. All that kind of stuff caught me.
Yeah, and that was what we call guitar rock, or you know, where you had Angus Young or Jimmy Page, who was every bit as big as the singer, right? The singer was always the face for the band, but all of a sudden, at a certain point, especially in the album-oriented rock era, there was this, and it was always equals, right?
Yeah.
Where like they were like the singer and the guitar player. So it was like a 3-piece band, but it's 4-piece band because the guitar player didn't sing or the singer didn't play guitar. So, you know, I always like playing, as I said, 2 guitars in a band.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
AC/DC. If you're kids, obviously you know about those. What about you? What was your first rock and roll?
Me,
hit?
I was a huge Maiden Priest fan.
Yeah, metal.
I loved Maiden
Speed.
and Priest. I wasn't too much in on the thrash and the death metal in the beginning. It was a lot of Maiden, Priest, Zeppelin, of course.
Yeah.
Rush.
Yeah. Anything fun and fancy and crazy. What about you? Who was your first god?
Not God, but Slippery When Wet. And
Oh,
Sunday
yeah.
morning.
It was Bon
When I was
Jovi, man.
Every Sunday. Every Sunday they play that record in the house. Yeah.
I just said that. I thought he was going to say the Bee Gees.
John Bon Jovi, he was like brilliant. He had like, and him and Sambora and the band, like he knew what he wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he'll be president one day. He will be. You watch me. President Bon Jovi. He'll be like, you think Trump's funny? I'm serious. We got President John Bon Jovi coming in 2024. I guarantee it. You heard it here first. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna pull this up in 2024 and go, President Bon Jovi, fuck you. All right, more live music. What are we gonna do next?
Cyberstalker.
Cyberstalker. Anything? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is that too tight? Is that cutting off the circulation? Good. So, there's really no point in getting too upset about it because the reality is there's nothing you can do about it. So just sit back and relax and we'll have some fun. This is going to hurt. It's time to die, like the games played in cyberspace. Bye, it's time to die. Got a gun and he's coming to your place.
I would do my best bitch screaming.
Not important. It's screaming and screaming. I tell you, it's rock and roll. It's great. You kids should get a dose of it. I don't know how much rock and roll. There is a lot of good young rock and roll out there. You should chase it, but there's nothing wrong with the old salts. Especially these guys. Like I said, they're hungry. I remember being part of a band. I was in my late 30s, but I hadn't played in like 15 years. I was hungry. It's nice when you can chase that and you can follow that. I want to reiterate what I said earlier. Boxo Studio. Be famous. Make friends. Influence people. It's all about Boxo Studio. You can find us on the interweb. We're for real. These guys are crazy. All right, I want to give a shout out to Heather over at Taxes Done Right. She does our taxes. She does our books because I hate doing that stuff, right? Do you hate doing that stuff?
Yep.
Do you like it? Are you a math nut?
Mine goes to the accountant.
Just because you can doesn't mean it's nice having somebody pro do it for you, especially when they're like, "Oh, I saved you $800." Like they're just handing you like 2 weeks' work or a week's work or 2 days for some people. I don't know. Not around in the business of music, I tell you that much. It's ruthless. It's cruel. It's brutal. And that's why I love it. It's true. I want to play something off of your record. You got some records. It's not just one record. This is the most recent one, reminiscent of, the first and the only Blind Faith record. It's got tiny titties with big nippies, or at least pasties. And we got this one, this is real, this is real, right? So you've never heard of them, but they got 3 records, so who the fuck are you, right? Just because you didn't hear it on the radio. I mean, that's what kills me, It can't be true because I don't know about it. Well, what was it? John Voight in Runaway Train when he grabbed Eric Roberts and goes, "You don't know what you can't do." Yeah. We're so full of ignorance and stupidity and humor.
Yeah, we've had tracks used on biker television as backing tracks.
Well, whatever. You like to play rock and roll.
We like to play it.
Yeah. You do it here and you do it there and you do it everywhere. I'm so glad that you came in and you're doing it here.
Thank you.
But it's such a closed shop in so many ways. We're trying to kick that door open a little bit, and we're going to talk about the next thing we're going to play, which is off of the master list, which I have no idea where it is. You're going to do... do we do a live one, or do we just come for a video?
Blue Steel Highway. I think we're going to do video.
I think we're going to do a video. Did we do 2 videos in a row? Yeah, here's Gary's list. I turned it inside out. What a bastard I am. I used the blankness of his form for my own use. Yes, Blue Steel Highway. Something you wrote about Big
Actually,
Blue?
the highest illegal gun traffic in the world comes across the border into Windsor from Detroit on I-75.
You would never know that, but it's true.
So we played the part of the bad boys with the '66 Pontiac, which is my nephew's drag car. But anyways, did the whole video on it of bringing illegal guns across.
It's a real song about a real thing by a bunch of guys with real jobs who love rock and roll a whole lot. You can't do better than that. Livingroom Rockstars right here, barbershoppodcast.com.
Another ship that rolls in. It's a dirty, dirty night and it's blowing up a wind. Rain pounding like a hammer on my windshield. chipmunk load of blue steel. Blue steel's rolling, better take care. Trouble in the wind and a stench in the air. Got some 9 mils and some Colt 45s. Don't get in my way or you won't come home alive. On the blue steel highway, tonight got a shipment going to Canada for the boys and the girls who like to play rough. Filed off numbers, owners with no names. Got the baddest barrels in this game. Blue steel's rolling, better take care. Trouble in the wind and a stench in the air. Got some 9 mils and some Colt 45s. Don't get in my way or you won't come home alive. On the blue steel highway, rolling up to the border, sweating like the rain. Nervous as hell, but I feel no shame. Will the guard let me through, or will I end up in a tank? It's the devil's work I do, but it's God that I thank. Blue steel's rolling, better take care. Trouble in the wind and a stench in the air. Got some 9 mils and some Colt 45s. Don't get in my way or you won't come home alive. On the blue steel highway, the green lights coming on. Hit the gas and I'm gone.
All about on Barbershop Podcast. We chat before, during, and after. You know, music is, and we say this every week, right? There's all kinds. We had a wicked country band on 2 weeks ago. We had a incredible duo on last week, and we got a rock and roll band on this week. These are people, you know, they're from Hamilton, they're from around Hamilton, and they're from every single part of this country. They're part of every country. In this shitty, mixed up, fucked up world, I'm going to guarantee you one thing, that there's someone with a guitar or a drum or a horn or something, a song to sing within shouting distance across the fucking world. It's bigger than anything. And I've always been a little pissed off because I've felt that it was the greatest way to get across a message and to make people think and feel. And there's a stupidity and there's a dumbness that's going on about music. And not to say that you guys are philosophers, but you are. You know, you talk to the common man, the guy who drives the truck, the guy who fucking digs, the guy who fucking tapes and muds, and the guy who fucking, you know, seriously, he is as legitimate and as real as anyone. And so is she. You know, it's like, don't you love the girls who love rock and roll? They're the best girls in the world. I'm serious. You know, and they're 18 or they're 48 or 58. Like, they are wicked. They're cool. So if you're a rock and roll chick, thank God that you come out. Because it's a sausage factory. For the it is. It gets sad sometimes. So if you're a girl who likes rock and roll, go out as much as you can. Trust me, you'll be lusted after. That's what happens. Because the blood gets flowing. And that's what we do. We're going to flow a little bit more blood here. We do a little bit less chat. A little less filler. A little more killer. What are you going to do real? What's the next one you're going to play live?
No sex tonight.
No sex tonight?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to play No Sex Tonight right here, right now. BarbershopPodcast.com.
You can say she's got it all, and then some more. Knows just how to turn me on, how to buy a woman's trade. That's a million and one excuses I'm not getting laid. When it's in the tall black boots, no sex tonight. When it's letting out that long blonde hair, no sex tonight. When it's skin-tight jeans and me, no sex tonight. I see you getting just a little too drunk. No sex tonight, no sex tonight. When she's dressed up for a party, she trudges on the stairs in her skin-tight jeans and her tall black boots and her thong underwear. She does her hair and she does her face for all the world to see. She's the only thing that she doesn't do with me. When she's in those tall black boots, no sex tonight. When she's letting out that long blonde hair, no sex tonight. When I see you getting just a little too drunk, no sex tonight. When she's wearing a negligee, no sex tonight. When she's dressed up for the runway, I know I don't stand a chance. When I see her in her gardening clothes, I know I'll be in her pants. Jeans, it means no sex tonight. When I see you doing anything, no sex tonight, no sex tonight.
Oh my goodness. That's it in the reel. That's what happens once you enter into the agreement, the sacred agreement. Nookie. You know what? It occurred to me I never finished my ad for Heather. Anyway, she does taxes. I started talking about her, and then we got off on a plane. Beer will do that to you. God love beer. But Heather, she does taxes, and she has like all of her credentials, and she works with losers like me and musicians who are like forgetful. And she works with she loves to work with people who have their shit together, but she doesn't care. She's going to make sure that you get the most that you deserve and you pay as little as possible. God, what's wrong with that? So taxes done right. When you got that bookkeeping, tax doing shit to do, talk to Heather right there. All right. Barbershop Podcast. We got a bunch of guys from the hinterland. The heartland of southern Ontario. It's like a stacked kind of area. You drive it. It is in a very wide, broad country, a little piece of like LA or any other kind of, it is incredibly metropolitan and cosmopolitan, but like that, you're in the country. You know, it still has that magic where, because Canada is along little strips and pieces, you can go out and go into a new world within an hour of driving in any direction of it. So let's talk about that. Geographically speaking, being older, and I mean, not in your teens or 20s, dudes playing rock and roll, what is your mission statement? What do you want to do with your rock and roll? What is, what's your...
You know what? If we write songs that move people, that, and that like I can remember I'd come home from high school, I'd be pissed off and, whatever. I'd lay down on my bed, put on, I don't know, usually wasn't Kiss. It was anything from Kansas
Pink
to
Floyd or...
I wasn't as much a Floyd fan. I liked Floyd, but I was more into Def Leppard and Ted Nugent, whatever,
Yeah.
But I could lay down and listen to Aerosmith and listen to that stuff, and it just took me to a whole different place that I couldn't reach yet. I mean, at 14, you're not going to hop in your car and go for a cruise. You're going to lay in your bed and stew and listen to good music.
It's true. It's true. And 22 minutes aside, you had to get up and flip it over every 22 minutes. So there was some engagement where you could go away, but you had to come back and go, is this so good that it gets B-side, or am I going to pull something else out? And I think that's important, where now we have it like 7,000 song set list. Like, where's the... I love the immediacy of analog when you would have that. And there was no such thing as digital. Digital was whatever. And then it became little effects, and you'd hear like doo 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 doo, like gated drums and kind of neat stuff or whatever. But just as a consumer, we were listening to our ears. And we talk about the seminal rock and roll records. Like, I remember in my teens, like, they called me Relic, right? Because I liked CCR and Zeppelin and all that when it was Depeche Mode and Duran Duran was popular. I liked the old stuff. And then in the 80s, like GNR, like Appetite for Destruction dropped all of a sudden out of nowhere. It's like, what, is this? I remember being a Mohawk and winning Stevie Ray Vaughan's first record. Like this blues fucking god. There was like, I didn't, like, there was like these beautiful little drops that happened in the 80s and 90s every couple of years to remind us of the Freddie Kings and the Robert Fripps and the people who are like rock and roll gods. What do you think about rock and roll? What do you think about the future of rock and roll? Do you listen to any new rock and roll? I can't. I don't know anything that's happening now.
I don't listen to the radio much anymore. My hearing got so bad I can't most of the time, but other than the Black Keys, like I've heard a few that I still like, but for the most part, I don't really like what I hear out there too much anymore.
Seems like a bunch of advertisements. It's not really music. It's just advertisements.
Yeah.
Like, how can they?
You know what? I spent whatever it took to get a Gibson, a real Marshall, expensive tubes in it, whatever it took to build a high-quality product. And I don't know how many musicians I've dealt with that, that doesn't matter. Play a plywood bass everything matters. Everything matters. You want to be pro or not? Do you want to go on the Formula One track in an '86 Chevette, or do you want to take something out there that's a winner? Yeah. And the same with the musicians I've hooked up with. I've sniffed all these guys out one by one whenever I could, the best I could find. The songs, when I wrote the songs, it was like, you know what? I remember, as I said, being a teenager, whatever, the music is what got me through my teenage depression. When I was a trucker, it's what kept me awake at 4 in the morning. When I worked at Canadian Tire and I hated my job, a good song came on the radio, it's like, that's cool. You know, for 3 minutes you can shake your ass and maybe forget about what pissed you off a few minutes ago. And if I can do that for the rest of the world, or we can do that collectively.
Or you can do it one weekend a month.
Goal accomplished.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
All right, you got a killer record came out here. You went up to Chicasa Studios,
Yep.
which is one of the greatest studios
Oh, yeah. Killer.
around. Awesome. And you cut this record, and you did it like off the floor, which is the way, you know, if you're a real rock and roll band, you should do it. And we'll talk about it after the fact, but we're going to play a little tune off it. And this one's called Lost But Never Alone. It's the Livingroom Rockstars on barbershoppodcast.com.
Beside me, turning look, but you're not there. I know you left me long ago, but still you're not gone. Feel your warm breath on my neck, smell your scent in the room. And then comes that old familiar feeling again. When I stood by your side, I swear it came unglued. I was supposed to spend my whole life with you. My world came crashing down on the night that you died. I'm lost, but I'm never alone. Time passes by. For the life of me, I just don't see how. Every time I think I've moved on, put you out of my mind, in creeps that old familiar feeling again. When I stood by your graveside, the sword came unglued. I was supposed to spend my whole life with you. My world came crashing down on the night that you died. I'm lost, but I'm never alone. Know that I love you, never wanna let you go. 'Cause if I do, then you'll be gone forever. But while you're still with me, I really can't move on. But while I'm still alive, you know that I need something more. When I stood by your graveside, I swear it came unglued. I was supposed to spend my whole life with you. My world came crashing down on the night that you died. I'm lost, but I'm never alone. Said I'm lost, but I'm never alone. I'm lost, but I'm never alone.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to him. The guitar player lost his microphone, and it's like I said, don't worry, I'm not going to talk to you. We're done. But this is a cool CD. Okay, there's a lot of real heart in here, and there's a lot of real stories. Now, that song actually came from a real story. It came from a real place.
You see it well enough.
And tell us about that story, about that song.
Okay, so the story behind Lost But Never Alone was I grew up a mile down the road from Smith's Bakery, Greens Corners, Ontario. And the Smiths owned it, and I had gone there ever since I was a child. And so I'd always known them. And Daphne, the wife, had gotten quite old. And the last couple of years, I hadn't seen her behind the till. Her daughter and her daughter-in-law were out at the till. So I worked out west in the drilling rigs, and I'd go for 3 months at a time. And I came home one time, and I only live a mile from there now. And so I walked in, and Daphne came out and got her Rothman cigarettes like she'd always done. And she looked very frail. I knew she was well into her 80s. And I said, how you doing? She said, oh, not bad. And I said, well, haven't seen you out for a while. She goes, well, you know, the arthritis in my fingers all the years. I can't work the till very well, so I let my daughter and daughter-in-law run. Okay. She says, yeah, so nice seeing you, but my story's on in the other room, and off she, you know, okay, gotcha. So off she goes. But a week and a half later, I walk in, and Kim, the daughter's there, and I said, it was nice seeing your mom again, too. I haven't seen her for a while. And she says, where'd you see her? Right here. She says, when? But a week and a half ago. I've been home, I don't know, 10 days. And she says, no, you didn't. She died 3 months ago. Well, I was out west at work. I didn't know anything about it. I was in Alberta.
It's a fucking ghost story. It's a real fucking ghost story. Imagine talking to a fucking dead person and you write a song about it.
Yeah.
And you have a band.
And the last of that is, she said, well, Dad still will be putting wash in the washing machine and feel Mom right beside him and knows the feeling and smells her scent.
Yeah.
And you're like...
And real, like, why would people lie about this shit?
Exactly. Why would you?
People
So the
don't
dog
lie.
still knows. The dog knows she's there.
Yeah.
We still set a plate for it. And when Martin died a year later, Daphne left with him.
Yeah. True love. I'll tell you, chase true love till the day you die. You know, never be a mistake for doing that. All right, more live rock and roll.
Yeah.
Your drummer is starting to snap. He needs some feeding.
Feed me.
Let's
Feed
feed
me
him
some
rock and roll. What do you got?
Piss on your
So
feet.
this one is it's a love ballad, really. It's called Piss on Your Feet.
Piss in your feet. The Living Room Rockstars right here on BarberShopPodcast.com.
If your hose is old and your stream is weak, step up closer to the toilet or you'll piss on your feet. I'm not a desperate, but I waited all my life for my golden chance to stick my finger in a day. Altar boy's going to hell when he's deceased. He stuffed his ass with shards of glass and circumcised the priest.
That's Mike Farr not wanting to leave the party. It is awesome. Bang, bang, bang. And this is what it's all about. You go out and you're like, I don't want to go out and see music tonight. I don't feel good. That's when you go out and see music. When you don't feel good. Because you come home, you're like, I feel so good. Why? Because you got infused with live music. And it can be soft and soppy and introspective and toe gazing and navel rubbing. Or it can be like full-on rock and roll. This is what these boys do. They've got a series of bunch of records. This is a new one. It's got titties on it, which is like, we like that at Barbershop Podcast. We're fans of titties. And if you we don't mind saying, because we don't make any money on this podcast because if like everyone's got their shit, if I play, if you have a record and you're on our show, we don't make any money because it's copywritten, right? So if we were about the money, we wouldn't do this fucking show because we don't make any money because even these chumps don't make any money and they make sure we don't make any money off of them not making any money. Like, fuck all of you, right? So we do it like not making any money, right? And so we get advertisers and then sometimes there's stabbings at our advertisers' place. It's not their fault that people like to get stabby, Get stabby, So we need some new sponsors for Barbershop Podcast. And the problem is, and Gary will tell you, when you're a salesman, you become a fucking salesman full time. You can be an engineer. You can be a priest. You become a salesman overnight. Bam. Your job is to sell the shit. So if I'm like, well, I want you to advertise on Barbershop Podcast, and they're like, huh? What? Baba what? Baba? So I'm like, fuck you, right? I don't want to be a salesman. I want to do an amazing show. So, I don't know. I would have thought someone who owned a fucking music club, would have advertised. Because it's tax deductible. Unless someone who owned a guitar store would advertise. I thought someone in 5 years would come to me and go, wow, I want to be on your show. Fuck you. Okay? Fuck all of you. We don't. I do this show without a thought of advertisement. Yeah. I do it because I want to do it the way I want to do it. Mm-hmm. I want to do it the way I want to do it. Yeah. And I want an advertiser who's like, I like the way you do it. I'm here. Put my face, put my name, put my business up. I want to be associated. If you want to be part of the show, get a hold of me. $50 a week, I'll get you on. And think about it. It's on the fucking internet forever. For $50. You can't afford that? Fuck you. That's the theme for tonight. Okay, we're going to do the video for I Want to Fly. All right. It's a song you played right off, but I really love this song. It's the way it goes. And you had this, I think Mr. Dorner did this, and he's got such a creative ear and eye. We love him. Yeah. This is a cool video. Yeah. I Want to Fly. Livingroom Rockstars, barbershoppodcast.com.
And then see what kind of numbers I get with that, and then I'll put the HE221 on.
She's working good, right?
Yeah.
Working good right now, though.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I wanna fly, I wanna fly, yeah, I wanna fly, still dragging on the center line. I'll be fine. I wanna fly. I wanna fly. I wanna fly. I wanna fly. Don't you try to confuse my head with the reasons why. I wanna fly. 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 Sometimes I don't have to justify the reasons why. I wanna fly.
Foxtrot, Indigo Juliet, lining up for runway 069er.
Don't you try to confuse my head with the reasons why. I wanna fly. I wanna fly. Sometimes I don't have to justify the reasons why. I wanna fly. I wanna fly. I wanna fly. I wanna fly.
Wow, it don't get any better than that. It don't get any more real than that. It's real rock and roll. It's real music. We find it here. We filter it through Boxo Studio and Barbershop Podcast. Sorry for telling you all to fuck yourself so much tonight. I mean it in the best way, because I'm a good fuck. And you should be too. All right, for the guys in their living room,
All right.
Rockstars, I love you guys.
Yeah, I love you.
Gary
Thanks,
Greenland, Ryan Cannon,
Yeah.
thanks for coming in and making this mess sound great.
Yeah.
Because if you're hearing how good it sounds, these
for
are
having me.
$350 headphones. Thanks to Casey Smith. I'll always love you, Casey, because he saved me down here. Noise canceling Bose headphones. Next week on Barbershop Podcast is someone good who I just can't remember at this time. That happens. See you
right.
next week.
All right.
Barbershop
See ya.
Podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Thank you.
Love you.
Thanks, guys.